intended.
Okay, so now we. Hello. Okay. Looks like we have 2 participants, I think. Here, Eddie. Keep an eye on that and see if you can see if my head looks okay. Excuse me, Jenny. Here, you want to get up there?
My head looks what?
No, see if you can see my head.
I can see your head. I can see your head.
Remember this webcam to the other side, Sam? So
That would work, yeah. I think that would help. It's close. We're almost there. Oh,
that works.
That works. I can see your head. And John's head. It's perfect. Now you have, and now you only have 1 participant. Now you have 0. Now you have. Look at these 2 numbers are just going up and down.
okay.
For some reason. The one with 2 guys and then the thumbs up, they're not even going up or down. Okay?
All right, well, that's about.
Why are we recording a conference talk?
It's we're broadcasting on the internet what we're doing,
Why?
so that that's probably not a good idea.
Why do you have the Bluetooth right there? The Bluetooth right there.
Just so that people can participate.
It's acting like an X-ray right now. The camera is acting like an X-ray. You can't see it.
You are really coordinated, man. Oh, yeah. The only thing about putting it on there is that some people are just going to grab the mic.
Okay. Okay.
That's how people are.
Yeah.
They're going to adjust it.
Yeah.
Whether you want them to or not.
All right. Well, this might just be the best we can do. Okay. Yeah. If I.
Well, what
Put
if
the
the
stand
mic
there.
gets hot?
Oh, okay.
What
A
if
little
the
further away.
microphone gets hot?
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, at my height, it was not quite high enough.
Like if you put it right here, you can put that on somehow. So that. Then we have enough cord.
Yeah. Well, now
We go on the other side of the machine.
Okay. Well,
What do you have to change?
if we can just get it angled up a little bit, like if I had a pen, like, I don't know, I'm sure we have another pen. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can work. Oh, now I can see it.
I don't know.
Now I can't see it.
Well, David is at OSU, right? So he's.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Well, probably.
so. This is my height. You know.
What if a short person such as myself is
I know.
I don't know. Does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
that's
Close enough.
Yeah. If you can kind of get, yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
All right. So wait a minute. So microphone. How about that?
Right.
Hello,
Do you wanna
microphone.
try This mic
Well,
on
that-
for now, or do you want to?
The Yeti was. It's well.
what are these little ones? These ones do. You only need one.
Let's see here. So Johnny, you doing okay on there? Yeah, I think it's just using this Yeti one, whichever one.
I think this is attached to you.
All right.
And this one goes to Norica.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, I think it's ready.
Yeah, that means I can have my grapes now.
Oh wait, let me do one thing here. You want notifications? No notifications.
Oh, yeah, and bring up the video.
Oh yeah, here's the picture.
What notifications?
Oh, it just means here, sorry Johnny. We're not gonna look at you.
Do you have a full screen, like slideshow?
Well, actually, we can try that, but I think it would, well, I guess, okay. We just don't have the YouTube review. But maybe we could, yeah, I can get all the stuff off the desktop. Watch that.
Oh, yeah.
Move all those. It'll take a minute.
I think we just want to check the live stream right before we start, and you could.
I'm hungry. Oh, let me eat all the grapes.
Don't do that, Eddie.
So I've got an insert wood stuff. That means
Why don't you have any thumbs ups?
Don't mess around, Eddie.
Oh, okay, so you want me to turn on your.
Hey, people in Zoom land, can you hear me? And if so, can you please unmute and say hello?
What's that crack like?
Make sure there's one of the regular ones still working.
Back up, please, Eddie. Come on.
Hello. Okay, that's working.
Yeah, where we're at.
Hey, they are hooked up to speakers. What is this?
Eddie, please don't lean on the table. Kim, does it look sharp in, can you look at the focus of this? Does it look sharp?
Yeah, looks good,
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
What's this smells like paint? I'm painting here.
He just painted.
But it looks so
So
old
is,
and it wasn't
was Lance
bad.
on the other end of it?
He's supposed to, but he's not showing up, so I don't know.
Okay. Last time, Fred and I just used my phone. And so, I'll look in for my phone for that.
So you can check it?
Yeah. Let's see here.
Do you like grapes?
He wants grapes, yeah.
Would you like some?
You can have some, George.
Would you like some too? Some grapes?
You can have some, Eddie. All right, Johnny, let's go check this.
And then
Yeah.
The theory is that someone's taking the bed.
Yeah. Test, test. Test, test, test. Can you hear me? Test, test. Can you hear me? Yeah? Good? Okay, great.
So,
People in Zoom, can you hear me? Welcome, people on Zoom. Can you let me know if you can hear this audio? Test, test, test. People on Zoom, can you hear me?
So, well, I don't do it, I don't know, but
Test, test. People on Zoom, can you hear me? Test, test. Hello, people on Zoom. Sebastian, nice to see you. Can you hear me?
You're at a concert now, already.
Test, test, test. Test, test.
Storage eating grapes. Oh. Wait, how?
This one says trash.
All right, well, I'm just gonna hang out here, I guess. Hi there.
Hey. Oh, that's a great picture of Larry. Hey.
Hi,
Hi, Nordica. That's a great picture of Larry.
Isn't it? That's from my wedding, actually.
You went to your wedding?
Yep.
Oh, that's good. Might that have been Corvallis?
It was in Eugene.
Was that Isca?
Skinner's View.
Skinner. Oh, that's a lovely. Up on top, right?
Yep, ceremony was up on top.
That's Larry. How long was that?
That was 2005.
Oh, 6 years ago. Oh, no, 16. Well, time slips. Wow. So that's lovely. I'm glad he. Wow, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Hi, Krista. Hi, Sebastian. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. Nice to hear from you. So glad you could join.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
Is it Krista?
That's Krista. Yeah.
Hi, Krista.
Yes.
This is,
Yes,
this is,
Krista.
this is
I just
Flip.
don't have my camera on.
That's okay. Our camera's right here, Flip. I don't know either way.
Okay.
Hi.
I'll here.
Hi, Krista. This is Flip.
Hi. Maybe I have to put my lights on my camera.
Okay.
Just wait. I'm gonna put my
Sebastian.
We just took a turkey out of Rocket Portable Docking. So wish you were here to help us eat it.
where's my camera? Hi.
Sebastian.
Can you see me? Yeah. Hi.
And Sebastian, you're in South America? Where are you? No?
Colorado.
Oh.
Wow.
Nice to see you, John. And nice to see you, Krista.
Yeah, I just have to put my lights on because it's 10:30 here in the evening. I'm in Malawi.
Wow.
Come on over
Yeah.
here, Kurt.
I'm already sitting in my bed.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Here's
Wow, so
Kurt.
it's great you could join.
Do you see Kurt?
Yeah.
Maybe we should just kind of show you this area around here. So you can see people sitting in chairs, talking.
Wow.
I guess there's really that.
Amazing.
And so we made a turkey and the rocket oven over there. It's between the.
Yeah.
You know,
Some stoves in the background look familiar.
yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing Kirk's. He's brought his new stove.
Yeah, I just saw it at first.
Kind of black here.
Okay.
How are you all?
I'm gonna Hi, Krista. I'm gonna reset this for the.
Hi.
Yeah, that
For
makes
the. I think
sense.
we're about to get started here. So.
Good.
So here, if I stand here, you can kind of see.
Hi. Hi.
Zoom shortly. He's just gonna be a bit late.
Okay. Anyway, so that's,
Fred, you want to get started? It's 1:30.
How about 5 minutes?
Okay.
Yeah. People still rolling in, I still look like.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna give it about 5 minutes before we get started, folks. So hang in there. Thanks.
There's about 10 more people who RSVP who aren't here yet.
Oh my gosh, Jim just trying to get in.
Yeah.
And it says that it's a passcode.
Oh, I guess I should get a name tag.
Those words to apply to.
Want me to kick it off?
Can you give me just a couple minutes?
Yeah, no, not a second, but I thought I'd kick it off. And then.
No, it's fine.
Okay, I was gonna make this the object, the next speaker,
Okay.
so people come up, and somebody speaking, the next speaker will come up, just randomly.
I think that's perfect. Yeah.
And then
When you
we'll
start.
get through a lot of people and then go to the Zoom.
Yeah, do you want to let them, everybody know that's how it'll work?
Yeah, why don't I welcome everybody and walk through the live stream, and then you come up to town and then we'll talk to the Zoom.
Yeah, but when you welcome everybody, can you say, we'll do the live people first and then we'll move to Zoom? So that they know that they'll be contacted. Cool, thank you.
So there has to, I'm not sure if any of the applicants it goes on a foot home, so family level, but also industrial scale, and then furnaces and industry. Is there a start date in forms you wrote, so I got things like blast furnaces, ratio of combustibles industrial scale furnaces. This way, literally figures. Science. Singular focus
Hi.
Hey, everybody out there on Zoom. So nice to see you, Krista and Sebastian, Mark, Jim Jetter. Wonderful to see you all. People are still arriving here, so we'll get started in just a couple minutes.
Okay.
Boy, yeah, this is pretty handy. Try it out.
Okay, wow. They are big, they're getting really big. Yeah, a little far away. Wow. Great to see you.
Yeah.
They would still count it.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you all on Zoom. Just so you know, we've got a screen that's projecting you all to the participants, so everyone can see your lovely faces. And I'll just give you a little shot of the room here. Say hi to the people on Zoom. We've got rocket stoves cooking up some food, and some happy folks arriving.
We did. Hi, Martha.
Irene. Hi, Irene. Good to see you.
That's good. Oh, yeah, so you can tell, because you can see.
He has on his phone, the stuff.
I'm going to send it's a link. I'm going to send you a link. The staff in Google made a little minute and a half. I guess it was a video.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I can play that. Yeah, if you would email it to me.
John still got pretty south channel. Good to see you. How are you doing?
Larry's kids are just arriving now, so we're just waiting for them to get settled.
It's part of our life plan, right? Where you stand. It starts through the VA, they see a lot of correlation. People are trying to be. The drop is pretty widespread.
Oh, yeah. He ran a woman in my road.
You what?
You talking about Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah, he met a woman in.
All right, so yeah, we'll plug into the, yeah, we'll just use your computer. And here, let's plug you in and then we'll take your computer. Well, I want to use the power here and then we'll put your computer down there. So if you,
Hi, everybody. Larry's kids are still arriving, so we are still holding on. But thank you for your patience and welcome.
yeah, so just pass me that cord. Pass me the cord. And there we go. All right, and then we'll see if we can. I don't want to move the speakers. It might make some feedback or something.
Yeah.
So let's do a little table.
Okay.
Come on, Johnny. Come on, boy.
Yes.
Right. And each time.
We haven't seen it. Quite a bit. Yeah, with mine, I just leave them. Yeah, you can. Nice and
Matt, I'm Matt. Sure.
Alrighty. This is first out there. Thank you. That's what the one I got.
Hi, everybody. We're going to start this program in a couple of minutes. If y'all like to come and find a place to sit down, and if we're out of chairs, we could fetch some more. Louder. Testing, testing. Louder, louder. Testing. Good? Good? Okay. Are there enough chairs? Are there enough chairs? Looks like.
Can you folks on Zoom hear all right? Sam does.
Fred, you trying to start it up?
And send it by airdrop to a Mac.
Trying to start it up?
Yeah.
Hey, let's all
I
sit down and
downloaded
start it up.
this so I have permission to get it now. I have to send it somewhere. But not by email.
Yeah, you can tell me about it.
So I know what I can do. I can
Are
sit
there
here.
exactly the right amount of chairs here?
Greg, you need to swallow that mic for us to hear you.
Right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. Can you hear okay? Okay. It's a sad occasion, and it's a celebration. So Larry was a man of faith, and many of us share his faith. I'm Fred Colgan. My wife Lisa and I welcome you to our place and to this island, which has some history in the world of cook stoves. The logistics. It's an open mic, so anyone who wishes to speak, it's the wishes of Larry's sons that anyone who wishes to speak, come up and speak. So the way to do it is, this chair right here is the on-deck chair. So if someone's speaking and you want to go next, come up and have a seat and then take the mic when they are finished. Okay. We're also on Zoom, and can you hear me on Zoom? I don't know. Yes, okay, hello to all of you on Zoom. So we're going to do the live speaking here first, and then we're going to ask folks on Zoom who want to speak. And we know there are people all over the world to whom Larry was very, very important. So my story, I was first involved with stoves in the 1980s, and came to Cottage Grove after building a bunch of terrible stoves in Central America. And in the late 80s, saw one of the very first Larry Winiarski rocket stoves. And that became part of my life and became part of my trajectory that wound up with us planted here, and then with Aprovecho here, and then with InStove being created, and 15 years later, here we are. And I didn't think I'd see you all again. It's wonderful to see you all, even in this time of the plague. So I miss Larry. He was very important to me. He was my friend, I'm proud to say. He was my mentor. We had a bunk room here with his name on it, and we spent a lot of time staying here. We had stove camps. We had some legendary events, and Larry was our elder. He was our mentor. He was the man who inspired us all. And my life took a total turn. I didn't come to Oregon to get involved in clean cook stoves, and yet when I discovered what was going on, it was a compelling time of my life, and it took over my life for 12 years, 13 years. I'm retired now. Many of us are, but again, I'm glad to see you all. I hope we can honor our friend as only friends can do. Larry's family is here, his sons. Robert, are all three of you here? Yeah. Robert, Larry Jr., and David, right? Yeah. I know there are a bunch of Winiarski cousins on the Zoom call. Grandchildren? Okay, welcome, yeah. I'm gonna quit talking, so whoever would like to come and speak next, come. And whoever wants to follow, come sit in the on-deck chair and be ready to talk. So welcome, God bless, and God bless Larry and his wonderful life. Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll keep it going. You can hear me, right? So I'm Dean, and I met Larry in 1989 under a tree at Alphavecchio on Hazelton Road. And I was just kind of a boat bum, you know.
Dave,
Hey, Robert.
I don't know the protocol.
Yeah.
Sorry I'm late. Can I put this up here somewhere?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, just come on out. Oh my God.
I don't know what to do. Somebody
Here, an article, yeah. Yeah. Good Lord, it remains. Good Lord. No, you're doing great. You're doing great. Good Lord.
Honduras coffee bag.
All right. Way to go, buddy.
Dean, I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. Okay, well, I keep going. So anyway, so I met Larry in 1989, and you know, I had built a sailboat, and I was just like every other person. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I just was kind of banging around from one thing to the next and trying to find something. But after 2 weeks, I had found my life's work. And that was unbelievable, right? A lot of my scientist friends and just engineer friends, they say, you know, you were really lucky that Larry gave you a good problem where, you know, the experiments are $5 or $10. People who get a problem like trying to make a virus vaccine or some kind of a, you know, it's very hard to do those experiments, and they have to kind of sell their soul to whoever's going to give them money to do it. But so I was extremely lucky, and I just wanted to tell some stories about Larry, like, you know, in Haiti, where Larry slept, I know, for at least 6 weeks on a cement floor. And, you know, that's not that easy. And then in the dump in Managua in Nicaragua, he really would pick up children who, you know, they're working in the dump to get materials, and then they take it up to somebody who is going to make something with that raw material. And you can imagine they're sick all the time. And so he would really pick them up and walk 10 miles. I don't know if you know, I mean, Larry was freaking Superman, you know, for a long time. Yeah. And his dad dug the Polish, you know, I mean, the dad dug the basement with a shovel underneath their house, stuff like that, right? Where just Larry could do anything. Larry would, he built us a road, I mean, with 3 other guys, but 18-kilometer road at the ranch in Mexico, right, with a shovel. And he couldn't see that well. So we would go rescue him because he had these 2 flashlights, and he'd work until the sun went down. Then we'd see these flashlights going like this all over the landscape of him trying to find his way back. And we'd send some kid to go get him, right? And so, let's see, I don't know, you know, the stoves, Larry is the only person that I've ever met that I probably will meet who had an idea that went viral over the entire world. And that's pretty unusual, right? Where I also wanted to say that, you know, in a way, nobody ever dies. I mean, in many ways, they pass on. And I'm not just talking about religion, but I'm also talking about us, right? That we all are also working on Larry's ideas, and we're trying to he inspired us, and now we're trying to make it all happen in the same way that Larry was. And so in religious ways, and also just in the real worldly ways, nobody dies. And so And I'm enough of a rah-rah guy that I'd go, yeah, the harder we work, the more we're honoring Larry, right? So just sort of a little rah-rah, you know. And let's see. Opera Vecchio is Larry. So Nordica, if you just stand up just for a sec. So, I mean, in the way of not dying, so Nordica just took over my job. And so I'm 69. And how old are you, Nordica, if you don't mind? 42. I mean, young, you know, full of juice. And so these things aren't dying. In fact, we're getting closer all the time to the 10 design principles, making stoves that are what Larry wanted. And so anyway, I was lucky to have a mentor. And this guy, Dr. Sam Baldwin, is the head of the Department of Energy. He's the chief scientist, the research side of the Department of Energy. He has $4 billion a year that he spends on research. And he did his part, as well as doing a PhD in physics for fun, he wrote the Bible on stoves in 1987. And so what Sam said to me was, well, it's really sad to lose a mentor, and that in life, mentors are super important, right? Right? Like you don't even realize you're inspiring people, and then they go on, and then the whole thing becomes something that really makes a difference. And so I'm not retiring. Now I'm getting to work. Nordica is going to worry about the money, and then I can work harder on Larry's dream. So anyway, I invite you all to dream with me and make it happen.
Let me see if I can stay turned.
Close to the mic.
Yep. Hi there, I'm Peter Keller. I'm Executive Director of Aid Africa, and my involvement with Larry is a little, well, like Larry a lot, a little unusual. Back in 2009, the Project for Clean Indoor Air, PCIA, had their annual conference in Kampala. And my friend Ken Goyer was going with Aid Africa, and Larry went. But then Ken got sick and was unable to go. So I hopped on a plane and flew to Kampala, and I got there just a day late, so I missed a little bit. But Larry was there, and he had paid for our entire staff to come to the conference. We rented a house for the week and paid for everybody's admission. And so that's the first time I met him. And it was, well, things are a little more freewheeling back then. The conference was wonderful and experimental about things, and we learned so much. And I first met Larry and got to know him a little bit there. But then we all went up to Aid Africa's offices in the city of Gulu up in northern Uganda. And so he came up and spent about 3 weeks with us there. And we were working a lot on water projects there. And so he had developed a way of digging. The water level was quite high there. And so we were able to use a hand drilling system called a cable tool. And so he spent a lot of time on that. But what I learned from Larry is it's nice to have the thoughts and prayers, but he said, that's not enough. You got to get out there and do it. And so that's what he did. He didn't let he had some disabilities that kept him slowed down, but no, they didn't slow him down. He just got out there and worked with the drillers and got down and was involved and showed me how to do it, how to have the big heart and how to turn that into making some practical improvements. And Ken had formed Aid Africa in 2006, and Larry joined the board. He was one of our very first members, and he's been a member ever since until this year. And he's brought a lot of insight and thoughts. And I remember one thing I wanted to do is to find a quicker way to dry our bricks. And so he says, well, you know, back in the 17th century, they used this system taking the heat from the fire engine to heat the bricks to dry them. I said, Larry, how do you know that? Were you there? He just seemed to, he knew all of these things that came out of history, and he was just a compendium of strange facts and ways to do things. Every summer he went to a camp in Alabama, and it was a camp on practical engineering, and they had people come from developing countries, and then they all learned lessons on things they could take back home and really get things done. And one of the people he had there was my still friend, Adeki Michael, who lives in Uganda. And I was leaving Gulu to come back home, and one of our staff, Bam, came with me. He says, we're going to go do a stove demonstration. Oh, I don't want to do that. I'm on my way home. I'm tired. But we went to this guy, Adeki Michael's house the next day and did a stove demonstration. And from that, he was a minister, Michael was. And he had his church there, but he had, from that one training session, he had 500 stoves built in his community there. That's just amazing. And I'm still friends with Michael, and I'm grateful to Larry for that connection. So I will always admire Larry. He gave me so much and instructed me on how to do things, and I will miss him. And I will look forward to chatting with you later about Larry and how to get things done. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ron Sticka. I'm here representing Eugene Southtown Rotary. My knowledge of Larry Winiarski came through Ken Goyer and Nancy Hughes. I joined our Rotary Club back in 2004. His stove team was just getting going not long before that, and it became a real powerful thing in which our Rotary Club takes a lot of pride and has participated in a lot of stove team projects. In the years which followed, I myself have been on one down in Mexico. So it's just a very valuable thing to allow people to get out and do some actual service and labor in service to others. Now, my knowledge of Larry came primarily through Ken Goyer, and I'm happy to see Ellen here with us today. Ken was a real powerful and respected member of our Rotary Club. My term as president of that organization was in 2008 and 2009, and I put Ken in for the prestigious Humanitarian Service Award for another organization. I thought I wrote a pretty powerful message. Ken had saved several lives in Africa, by running babies to the hospital and things like that, in addition to all of the other stove-related and other good work he did in Darfur and Uganda and other places. But Ken, didn't receive that award, and it seemed to have been won by someone who had simply written a check. And my thinking was, well, that's important work, or it's an important gift to make. But what we should really be honoring with a humanitarian service award is those who really get out in the field and do good things through sweat labor. So we did present Ken with what we called our Rotary Club Hero Award for his passing. I'm really happy we did that because I think that meant Ken. And in reflection on Ken's life and all he'd done, I thought, we should start an award. I announced that at Ken's funeral service that our club had authorized a humanitarian service award to be named after Ken Goyer. So it's the Ken Goyer Humanitarian Service Award. And I said, boy, knowing Ken as we have, those are hard shoes to fill. But it wasn't hard at all with the first recipient, who was Larry. Larry received the very first Ken Goyer Humanitarian Service Award, and I wrote the citation and presented that to him. And that's how I got to know Larry even better. So just recognizing all of the important work they did. I know I see Nancy's image on the screen here, but my primary concept of Stove Team is Nancy as the facilitator of that, but primarily with Ken and Larry and those two working together. Those are the ones I've primarily known. So they have done so much for the world, and I just want you to know that our club continues to respect each of those individuals so much, and it's my pleasure to be here to make you aware of that. Thank you.
My name is Jacob North. He was talking about the little camp in Alabama. That's where I met Larry. So we met him in 2009, and he's been a mentor and a grandpa to me ever since. He introduced me to a group of people doing the wood gas technology. And I've spent many, many years of my life doing that because of him. And he mentored me in a lot of the stoves, and we built many of them and designed. And he used to, for the past few years, I used to call Larry basically every Sunday afternoon, and we'd sit and talk for a few hours. And one thing I always appreciated about him is he always had a new idea, and there was always a better way to reinvent the wheel, which me and my practical concrete mind, sometimes I got a little annoyed with him, but most of the time it was a great pleasure to just sit there and talk over ideas. And I'm gonna miss my friend a lot. So thank you.
Hi, so I'm Lori Childers. I was one of the first people that moved to the Aprovecho's first land at the end of Hazelton Road. And so I met Larry in either late 1983 or early 84. I can't remember exactly when. And he had this idea for a stove that might burn more efficiently, might burn wood more efficiently. And I was just back from almost a year away, 6 months of that in Africa. And I remember he had this idea that we could put, he brought this Pyrex dish, and we could put it on top of the stove and watch the fire burn. So we all thought, okay, that's an interesting idea. This is one of his great skills, was, creativity and constant ideas. And we put it on, and it turned black instantly from soot. So I was like, okay, well, a little experiential learning right there. That wasn't going to work. But he was so full of curiosity and joy and creativity and elbow grease and humility. And those are really rare, wonderful combinations. Larry is one of those people I feel a great kinship with, because I think I could say that he knew very well that service was the secret to happiness. And he just took great pleasure in helping people solve their problems and bringing the science and engineering background that he had. I'm also married to somebody with a PhD. His first degree was in physics, so I'm around this a lot, but it's just so, Larry's, humility and energy was just super wonderful. And I moved away and worked overseas again for between 84 and until 1991. I moved back to the Willamette Valley to Corvallis. So I see Larry at the first outdoor event. I haven't even been in town a week, and there's a band, and I'm so excited to go dancing. Larry's so excited, he wants to talk about stoves. So I'm like, after about an hour, it's like, Larry, I really need to dance. But let's make a date. And so we talked more about stoves. But every time I saw him, he was just so joyful about living his life's purpose. And I have a deep respect for people whose faith motivates them to help people who are hurting. And I think it's fair to say that Larry understood that. He totally understood and lived his life that way and out of faith, and also because like experiential science does, it tells you when you're doing things right. And look how much joy he went through his life with. I'll never forget him.
Hi, we're John and Flip Anderson. We met Larry in 2008, a woman from our church. And speaking of church, it's not that I'm an old hippie. This is my resurrection shirt. I wore this at my dad's service, and I wear it anytime I go to a memorial service. This is a resurrection shirt. So anyway, a woman from our church said she'd been down with Stoke Team International, and we had worked in Haiti, and she came back and said, hey, these stoves burn less wood. You worked in reforestation. Maybe the stoves would be a good fit for Haiti. And so she took us down to meet Nancy, and Nancy said, oh, you need to meet Larry. So we came to her party in September, and there was Larry feeding wood into a stove, and oh, you got to come see, I built a stove for Haiti. It's different than this stove. So I have a business, I wild collect native seed. So it wasn't until January, early January, we'd have a chance to go meet Larry. And he said, okay, we'll meet at this day. And then right when it was time to go, he called and said, you know what? I stayed up all night watching a movie. Don't come today. Some of you who know Larry can maybe appreciate that. But then Larry said, oh, you got ethos. And like, we know nothing about stoves, but he said, no, this is how you learn. And so we did to introduce the stove to Haiti. I'd worked in reforestation. I'd give presentations, and people would be somewhat interested. When we're doing the stove, it was like there were people standing on the roofs of other buildings, and it was just, they used the word saisi, they're just amazed. There was one time we were doing a demonstration. We had the new StoveTech stove. They had just started building them in China. And so we had that stove, and there's this big circle of people, probably 100 people standing around. And we have this pot on top of the stove, and I go to light the fire, and I can hear this guy, we ended up meeting him later. His name was Rodelin. But he says, the white guy doesn't know how to light a fire, because there was smoke and then there was nothing. But then I went and lifted the lid off the pot and it was boiling, and they were like, whoa, what kind of magic does this guy have? And that's the story of the stove. We're here because of Larry, but we're also here because of the stove. This stove that's just made an impact all around the world. I'll finish up by telling a story that Peter Scott mentioned. We had gone to East Timor. APRO sent us over there to work with a Mercy Corps project for 6 weeks. And Flip will talk about that. But right after that, we came back, and there was a conference at U of O trying to get young people involved in ways that they could make a difference in the world. And Peter Scott was talking. He's from Bern International, and he told all these stories about how you can make a difference. But then he ended up by saying, when you're working with the poor people, you're going to get more out of it than they will get out of it. And he says, everywhere I go, people come up and they say, God bless you. And that's what I want to say, Larry, God bless you. You've made such a difference around the world and made a difference in our lives as well.
So the first time we actually met with Larry at his house, we spent hours, and he begins with all these scientific things that he's trying to tell us. And after hours with Larry, we left his house and our heads were it was just like we were brain dead. And we said, let's go to a movie. And we did. But Larry was the kind of guy that he was constantly coming up with ideas as we were experimenting, doing more things ourselves. And so he was right at our side when we made our first rocket oven that became a pizza oven that made hundreds, literally hundreds of pizzas in our barn. We would go off to Haiti or East Timor, and we found that Larry would stay up during the night so that he could be communicating with us by email during the day. And so there was one story where he told us we needed borax. If we had borax, it was going to make a big difference in the chemical composition. And I was looking all over in East Timor for borax, anyway. He was just always innovating like that. And he just loved to sit down and watch a fire with you and talk about it, and we could learn from him all the time. But the story that I heard Larry tell over and over was that when his wife died and he had 3 little boys, he prayed to God. He said, God, I will serve you all my days if you will help me raise my boys. And he told that story so often that we went to Haiti and we're in this process of a week-long training trainers to do what we had taught them. And I told that story because it only felt right that Larry's mission in life would be told along with the stoves. And did you want me to say anything more? That was it. Okay.
My husband Ken and Larry were really great friends. They were kindred spirits and rocket stove buddies. Larry would come over to our house after church on Sunday, and he and Ken would go out to the carport and play with fire. Develop rocket stoves. And then we often went out to dinner together. And after Ken died, that didn't happen anymore. And I felt kind of sorry for myself that was missing. But a few years later, I needed some very serious surgery done. I didn't have any family in town. And Larry found out, and he was at the hospital, kind of like on a vigil during that surgery, and met with the surgeon afterwards. He stood in for my family, and that means so much to me. He, a true friend in a time of need. And my life is really the better for having known Larry. Thanks.
My name is Damon Ogle, and I have a Larry story for you. So I knew Larry for a very long time, and we were very, very close friends. But Larry spoke Spanish, but Larry did not speak the greatest Spanish. In fact, I think that only my Spanish was worse than Larry's Spanish. That being said, he was the best communicator that I know. So what happened was we were on a trip to Honduras with Mike Hatfield, and we were working to try to develop combustion chambers for a certain type of stove that was being built there. And we were there for quite a while, but we also had time to pursue our own projects. And we had a house that was kind of in the southern outskirts of Tegucigalpa and near some of the not so good neighborhoods. And we would walk back sometimes along this main road which was an elevated road, and you could look down into one of the poorer communities just below. And so we were coming back one day, and Larry was with me, and we looked down in that community, and there was a woman that was cooking on a 3-stone fire. There was lots of smoke, and she was trying to take care of several kids at the same time. And Larry said, "That woman needs a stove. I'm going to build her a stove." And we went on back home to our place. And Tegucigalpa is not the safest city in the world. And I was a little bit intimidated by some of the areas around there. But I went on another project measuring wood humidity that day. But at the end of the day, I walked back to this area where this woman was. And Larry was there. And I was imagining during the day what was going to happen. So here's this community of basically poor people. And this big, hairy, fat gringo walks in and says, "I'm going to build you a stove." Now, what can go wrong with this scenario? But I went down there, and when I went down there, I came from the upper part of the roadway down, and I could see what was going on. And there were all these people around, and Larry had built a stove, and the woman they built a fire in it, and she was cooking on it, and she was obviously delighted with it. But Larry had ingratiated himself. He'd enchanted everybody in that whole community. And there were people around watching. And I remember there were lots of kids, and the kids were all glommed around Larry. And he was, talking as Larry does. And some of the kids were hanging on to Larry. And maybe they thought he was Santa Claus, because I looked at him, and the kids looked like ornaments on a Christmas tree. And I looked down there, and that's when it really struck me that this is an extraordinary man for what he's doing, because everybody in that community loved him, and there was no problem with communication at all. So that's my Larry story. Now, I've heard before about the promise that he made after his wife was killed in a tragic accident, that if God would help him raise those 3 boys, that he would devote himself to helping humanity. So he did that, and he did that in a big way. And the rocket stove and principles, that's a very important thing. But there are so many other times, thousands of times, that he just did small things, small good things for people. And so I think that if there is a creator out there that's waiting for us at some point, I hope that creator treats Larry very well, because Larry certainly fulfilled his promise that he made to God. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nordica McCarty. I'm an associate professor of mechanical engineering at Oregon State and an Evans Scholar of Humanitarian Engineering. And as Dean mentioned, the new executive director of Opera Vecchio. So I'm really excited to continue my 20-year history with such an amazing organization. I've had the pleasure of knowing Larry for half of my life, which, thanks to Dean, all know exactly how long that is. And what really struck me most about Larry is what an incredible teacher he is, or was. And by being such a great teacher, he's empowered so many people all around the world. He had an incredible knack for taking really complex engineering principles and distilling them down into something that you really felt like you understood and could use to design something really meaningful. And through that, he's transferred those principles and that knowledge and that power to people like me and people like you and all the people that he worked with in Tegucigalpa and all over the world. And I think that's just such an incredible inspiration and achievement and gift to the world. And so because of my interactions with Larry, I was inspired to become a teacher too, right? When you observe somebody who makes it look so effortless to understand these things, it really is inspiring to be like, I can do that too. I can provide that same kind of power and knowledge to others. And so I know that I definitely have Larry to thank for where I am today. And I know that all of us have Larry to thank for the fact that we've known each other, and many of us have built our life's careers on, Larry's rocket stove principles. And it's just stunning how far-reaching that has been, and how we've all been able to find work that really has meaning for us. And that's a huge gift. That's not easy to come by these days in corporate America and capitalistic society, right? But Larry really gave us all the knowledge and the confidence to move forward with that. And so, yeah, so I'm just so grateful to have had the chance to know him. And I guess when I shared the news, so Larry got his PhD at Oregon State in mechanical engineering. And so when I shared the news of his passing with my school head, he said, well, why don't next year when the OSU engineering awards come up, let's see if we can give Larry a posthumous College of Engineering award for all of his contributions. So stay tuned on that. I hope we can make that happen. But yes, we'll really miss him. He was incredible. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak, or should we transfer over to Zoom for a little bit? All right, folks on Zoom, good friends. Sebastian, hi, would you like to go first?
I'd love to. Yeah, thank you all. It's so great to see everybody and just hear everyone speak and rehash those memories. I have a lot of great memories of all of you. And Larry in particular, he's been a North Star for me for a long time, ever since I met him. I actually didn't meet him in Oregon. I was at Upper Richland in 2004, the summer of, and then the winter of, before going to Honduras in February 2005. And Dean, we were working on a problem. Dean just said, you know what, you just need to go see Uncle Larry. Go see Uncle Larry, sit down with him next to the fire and just, ask him all these questions you're asking me and get his perspective on it. I didn't get to see him before I left for Honduras, but soon after I moved to Honduras, he came down, so I got to spend some time with him in some old apartments I used to stay in. I went down for a 6-month internship with Trees, Water, and People, and 16 years later, I'm still on that internship ride. But Larry is one of the first visitors, and Hondurans claim him. It's like he's one of us, right? So he has a lot of friends and evangelists that have taken what he brought to Central America and to so many places in the world, and they're very proudly state. And I saw that there was this discrepancy here, but everyone in Tegucigalpa says he was born in Hospital San Felipe in Tegucigalpa, and they claim him as one of their own. So he's always been really close to all of our Honduran friends. They send a ton of love. I sent everyone the news and just gotten great messages and memories back. And I remember when he came to visit me, we were coming back from the field one day, and we were all sweaty. It was me and Augusto Ramirez, who worked for Odessa then, and he invited us up to his apartment, which was above a shop that sold shock absorbers, I remember, for cars, because I lived there for a little bit too. And he sat us down and pulls out a bottle of Flor de Caña, Nicaraguan rum, pours us each a little talk, and we just sat there and talked story about stoves, about life, about the world, got to know each other, and it was just a really special moment. All sweaty and stinky on his couch in a stuffy apartment in Tegucigalpa, sipping rum. And yeah, just seeing him every time after that, he was like family. He was always a great teacher, great mentor, and I miss him a great deal, and a lot of people I know will too. So thank you. I'm really glad that I got to be here. I wish I could be there in person. But much love to you all, and much love to Larry Winiarski.
Thanks, Sebastian. I see Patricia, you'd like to speak?
There we go. Am I muted now?
Yep, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
I met Larry in 2008 at a Rotary program in Mexico. I can't pronounce the place where we were at, but we were both there. We were invited to, there was a medical clinic, and Larry and I were invited to teach sustainable cooking. He taught rocket stove making, I taught solar cooker making, and we both taught retained heat cooking together. When he was ready to show the locals how to build his 16-brick rocket stove, he suddenly realized that the bricks that they left for us, because he'd asked for bricks, were the wrong bricks. So he and I borrowed a truck from one of the locals who was there for vaccinations. And we sped off, found a brick making place, and Larry inspected all the bricks and found the perfect 16 bricks, and we hauled those back. And then we did our demonstration. When we got back from Mexico, I wrote to Larry and told him I was going to teach some Boy Scout troops in Virginia how to make 16 brick rocket stoves. And I'd like to read to you what he wrote back to me. It's really short, but it's really Larry. Dear Pat, it makes me very happy to hear that you're taking our stove technology to the Boy Scouts. Some of the most important things I learned in life was from my Boy Scout experience. I still keep in touch with my Scoutmaster. In addition to his school teaching, he became a consultant to teach survival skills to the military. He was a great mentor. My sons learned a lot from their Scout experience and had a very good time. Neat to think that our stoves might make it to the Jamboree next year. Great work, Pat. God bless Larry. In my garage here in California, I have, as I'm sure some of you know, a lot of solar cookers, but I also have rocket stoves, including a stove tech, and I have a pile of 16 bricks that I can turn into a Larry Winiarski rocket stove in 5 minutes. And now I have a jet flame too, and boy, can that rocket stove cook fast with the jet flame in there. Last thing I have to say is when Larry and I were teaching stove making in Mexico, I bought my giant video camera, a little smaller now, and I made 2 videos, and I just sent all of you a link if you want to watch it, because it's Larry teaching how to make a 16-brick rocket stove, and then how to make a tin can rocket stove, and they're really quintessential Larry. So last thing, Larry, if you're listening right now, and I know you are, my videos, the 2 videos that Larry did on my YouTube channel, I would always, about once a year, I'd check in with Larry, and I'd let him know how many people had watched his videos. So Larry, here's today's count. As of today, 124,000 people have made a tin can rocket stove, and 723,000 people have watched how to make a 16-brick rocket stove. I miss you, Larry. Thanks.
Any others want to speak? Feel free to just chime in. I can't see everybody on the screen. Jim, are you raising your hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. It's really great to hear the stories about Larry. And I just think of all the times when Larry was there at Ethos and at Appalachia and other countries that we happen to be in. And I just always think of him in his overalls and just a big-hearted guy. I think I saw in the tribute to Larry that someone said that he was a giant among us, and I always think of his giant heart. Really, that's the main thing I think about Larry. So, I'm gonna miss him. I know we're all gonna miss him, but his spirit goes on in all of us, I think. Thanks.
Very well said, Jim. Thank you. Anybody else from Zoom like to share anything? I'm also going to download quickly a video from Uganda that Peter wants to share, so I got to jump on and do that.
Is that it, Antarctica?
Yeah, I'm trying to get this video from Peter.
What?
I'm trying to get a video from Peter, but I've got to download it quick.
So there's more.
Just a video, but you could stall or we could break either way.
We're gonna have iron stoves.
Yeah, so maybe it's just a little. Sorry, Peter, I can't get to the file, but that's okay. I think that really ends the sharing section of our event today, and we'll move on to cooking with rocket stoves and sharing in some meals. So thanks everybody for your kind thoughts, and it's so powerful, the love that we all feel for Larry, and I hope he's watching us, and I know he is, and appreciating and feeling all of our love, both now and for all the years that we've been able to work with him. So thanks to everybody for joining on Zoom, and I'll leave the feed open up here for a bit if anybody wants to come say hello to the folks on Zoom. Otherwise, we'll start having our meal. So, thanks, everybody.
I just wanted to say, would you just stand up so everybody can see? Yeah. So these guys drove here from Alabama, and they have a wood-fired truck out there that is the state of the art of the world, And Larry just couldn't get enough of these guys or think more highly of them. And so maybe after we eat, we could walk over and they could just show you the truck, which is. It's just like Larry, Larry spent enough time tweaking something to actually get it to work, and I just can't admire you enough, and I know Larry did, and anyway, so maybe after lunch we could walk over to the truck, check it out, if you wouldn't mind giving us a tour. Good to see you.
Hello. I'm sorry I got lost getting here, but I really would like to share a couple of words if it's okay, Larry, Robert, is that? Okay. My name is Kathy Bryson. I live in Costa Rica right now, and I'm from CFAT, based in Alabama and Costa Rica. And Larry is my friend, my heartfelt friend. I met him in 2003. I work at this small nonprofit that helps people to meet their basic human needs. And we've been working for years on child malnutrition and water purification. And it came on my radar with Aprovecho Institute and their report about smoke in the kitchen. And I thought, we don't have that type of technology, but we have a training center and people from now over 95 different countries, grassroots, community leaders have come to learn appropriate technologies to help in basic human needs. And I said, I've got to find somebody who knows some solution about this smoke in the kitchen. And I was coming from saving children's lives and how it contributes to pneumonia and malnutrition and all. I mean, when they're malnourished and synergistic with the smoke, how it really makes an impact. But I didn't know anything about smoke, about engineering or cooking with, this type of thing. I'm like, and I prayed, God help me find somebody. And let me tell you, I called everybody I could think of around the globe, and I kid you not, in many different countries. And I said, do you know anybody who has a practical solution for smoke in the kitchen? And they're like, well, yeah. And there was one name in common, and I remember it because it was an unusual name, and that was Winiarski. And they're like, well, if you can find him, let's see, I think he's out in the backwoods someplace in Oregon, and he's not so big on using the cell phone. But if you can find him, the man's a genius, and he knows what he's talking about. And so I made it my mission to find this man. And eventually, with God's help, I did. And then when I finally got him on the phone, I was literally trembling because I thought, oh, this man has the answer to something that can save and has saved so many people's lives. And who am I? And we're just a small mission organization trying to make a dent in the world's problems. And so I just said, is there any way we have these people coming from Africa, Asia, and Latin America to this training in this rural area in Alabama, and we're doing water purification and all these things, but would you be interested in coming and helping to show us how to do these fuel efficient rocket stoves that people have told me that you're the world's expert on? And I said, and then I held my breath and I said, because I knew he was so famous that he would charge thousands of dollars. And I said, and I could buy you a plane ticket, and we have a place for you to stay here with us at the camp. And I thought for sure he'd say, well, no, I don't have time, I'm too busy, and I'm doing this. And I just held my breath. And he said, why, yes, I'd be interested in coming. And he came and stayed with us for 2 weeks, that first May back in 2003. And he came ever since, every year. And I came to know and love that man, not only for what he taught, but for what he stood for. He was a man of integrity. He stood for truth. He was an incredible scientist, and he liked to find the truth. And I saw several different occasions where even if everyone else disagreed with him, he didn't care if he was the last man standing. Do some of y'all who know him understand that? Is that true or not? I mean, he would stand for what he believed to be true. I think we'd have a better world if there were more people like that. And he was one of these people that put into practice what he preached. And I'll tell you what, no matter what the situation or what the conversation, what you were talking about, he had this incredible way of always bringing it back to stoves. I mean, is that true or not? But the thing was, he was so passionate about it that he would just engage everybody. People who never thought about stoves. He just had this way. And he had this amazing way of making science available to the common person like me. And I really could just sit for hours captivated about how he explains, okay, not only does he give me some formula about why the different sticks are supposed to be close together. I mean, he says, oh, think about it. If you're cold at night, if you have 2 or 3 people in bed together, you're going to have more heat. How can I ever forget? I mean, that sticks longer in your head than a scientific formula. But he was just being practical about telling us how you had to put the wood together so that, he just had this way of doing that of explaining things that was just masterful. And in terms of impact, it hit me really hard when I heard that he had passed away, because at this new training center in Costa Rica, we actually had designed it so we had a room on the first floor for him. That was going to be Larry's room that he never got to come, and see. But then when I thought about it, he lived 81 years, and he lived a good life. And how many lives has the work of that man and his impact, how much impact has he had? And it really made me just stop and reevaluate my own life and think, in the end, all we have is time. Riches, fame, everything else, that all goes away. But our time, and particularly the time that we spend investing in other people and helping other people, that's what lives on. And I am so thankful for Larry and for his life. And also, one more thing, most of you who knew and loved him probably realized that he lost his wife years ago when the boys were young. And I remember him sharing that with me, and about how he told God he would help him raise those boys, that he would put the best of his science and all that into helping other people. I didn't know when he first told me that, but that I would lose my husband unexpectedly, suddenly, and be left with 4 girls to raise. And I'll tell you what, that's why I say Larry was my friend. Because he really gave me strength, and he shared with me just things from the personal level that have really helped me in my life and in our journey. So I had to come here today to stand up to give testimony for this man who I dearly love and admire and respect. And I do him injustice because there are so many other people who would like to have been here today who could not. But I bring you their greetings, and we're going to write some of those together. Raphael from Nigeria, who has shared with countless people how to make the simple stoves out of the mud brick that he shared with them, with widows in the northern parts in the desert area of Nigeria. And not only now do they not have to walk hours a day for fuel, but they decided they would sell them in the marketplace. So they give demonstrations on how to use it, cooking their local food. Then they sold them for $13 because some of them weren't too sure exactly how to make it, and they wanted them to make it for them, and they're still using them today. And with that $13, they could buy the school clothes that they need and the books to go to school. So it is making, and it's continuing to make an impact in those regions in northern Nigeria. Urema texted me from Venezuela. Maybe you know the horrible situation that they're in right now. They don't have gas to cook with now, or electricity in many areas. And she just 2 weeks ago got finished doing another workshop with what she learned from Larry there. There are so many different people whose personal life stories I would love to be able to share with you, but we don't have time to do it all today. However, we are compiling a list of some of those individual stories, if some of you all would be interested in reading those. And I'm going to leave some of those, and we'll be linking them up on some type of website. And Robert and Larry Jr. and David can help to make that available to those of you who would like to see it. Meredith and your 2 brothers, you grandchildren of Larry's, y'all have an incredible legacy. You should be proud of what your grandfather did with his life. And to Larry Jr., to David, and to Robert, I know that you're going to miss your daddy. We all are. But I know that you are very, very proud of him. And his legacy lives on in you. Thank you all for letting me share.
Organization is a home away from home, and the late Dr. Ryan contributed to its corporate foundation. And for the past 15 years, his type of innovation on the stove and water project remained to uplift his artistic, beautiful, creative life. Dr. Ryan portrayed a big part while executing his role as a board member. He laid a platform of God and Sunday to witness his perpetual love for humanity, and together with the generation yet unborn, we will behold the one of a kind, ever brilliant, and life-saving creativity that he left. His footprint remains extraordinarily memorable in the lives of the poorest of the poor people, not only Ghana, who are still feeling from the ground and agony caused by the Lord of distant family. There are a couple of outstanding contributions that we remember laying behind 6 Street rocket stove, which is the major project Africa is uniquely implementing to replace the traditional open fire. Over 35,000 stoves have been given out to households translating to about 200,000 people in northern Uganda, reducing the risk of lung and smoke-related illness and other tragic fire accidents in daily cooking. This scientific invention was not limited to stove only. Dr. Knight developed a simple shallow well drilling tool that was in areas of high water table. This has been and is still being used to provide clean water. This shallow well drilling tool has drilled about 150 shallow wells in the hard-to-reach areas, serving more than 75,000 vulnerable people in the northern part of Uganda with safe water. Right now, Africa organization is regarded as one of the major and reliable development partners in the water and sanitation sector, operating in 4 districts of northern Uganda. So far as an organization, we have been awarded certificate of appreciation and recognition from the line ministries. All these were because of the unique character Aid Africa had in the board. We will miss these new ideas and love for humanity. May his soul rest in peace. Amen.
Of Aid Africa, northern Uganda, out of the city of Gulu.
Okay.
Thank you, Martha.
Yeah. 2 years ago, we would never have thought about it. No, never.
You do.
Jimmy, that was so good. Oh, it was really, really good. Yeah. So good.
Why's my laptop when I'm sleeping? I saw that. I didn't want to mess with it, but yeah.
Those two, I know where that is. I did an interview with Larry because I had some ideas of a future project with him. But I never did anything. So I think it's wonderful footage of him. Maybe
He mentioned it.